Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. The next few minutes could be the turning point of your life, because what I'm about to tell you is not just advice. It's a mindset shift that can change everything for you, starting today. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, resources, or intelligence. They fail because they have the wrong mindset. If you want a better life, stop waiting for the world to change. Change the way you think, and your world will transform. The first and most fundamental truth about achieving any form of success is that your mindset shapes your reality. Everything in your life, every opportunity, every limitation, every triumph, and every setback begins first in your mind. It is not your circumstances, your environment, or your resources that define who you become. It is the way you think about them. If you wake up each day believing that the world is against you, that success is only for others, or that your dreams are too far-fetched, you will unconsciously create barriers that ensure those beliefs become your reality. Your mind is constantly searching for confirmation of your thoughts. When you believe you cannot achieve something, your mind will find evidence to prove it true, filtering every experience through a lens of doubt, fear, and limitation. Conversely, when you believe you are capable of growth, innovation, and achievement, your mind becomes an ally, scanning every challenge for opportunity, every obstacle for a lesson, and every failure for insight. This is the invisible power that most people underestimate, the ability to transform your world, not by changing external circumstances, but by changing the way you see and interpret them. A powerful mindset does not mean simply thinking positively or repeating affirmations. It means creating a framework through which you approach every decision, every setback, and every interaction. It is about cultivating the belief that no matter how daunting a problem may seem, a solution can be found, and that even when the world seems to be moving against you, you have the capacity to adapt, grow, and overcome. This mindset shifts your focus from fear to curiosity, from scarcity to possibility, and from passivity to action. It allows you to see beyond temporary setbacks and to perceive the hidden potential in situations that would otherwise feel hopeless or limiting. The person who understands the power of their mindset does not wait for external circumstances to align perfectly. They create opportunities by leveraging their perspective, their resilience, and their determination. The process of developing this mindset begins with self-awareness. You must become aware of the thoughts that dominate your inner dialogue, the assumptions you carry about your abilities, and the stories you tell yourself about what is possible in your life. Many people are unconsciously trapped in patterns of thinking that limit their potential, constantly repeating ideas like, "I am not ready," "I will never succeed," or "this is too difficult." Each time these thoughts arise, they subtly shape behavior, decisions, and ultimately outcomes. By recognizing these patterns, questioning their validity, and replacing them with beliefs rooted in possibility and growth, you begin to rewire your brain to see the world differently. It is not an overnight transformation, but a conscious, persistent effort to guide your mind toward thoughts that serve your highest potential. Moreover, a mindset that shapes reality is deeply connected to how you perceive challenges and opportunities. People with a fixed, limited mindset see obstacles as insurmountable barriers, while those with an empowered, growth-oriented mindset see every obstacle as an invitation to develop strength, creativity, and resilience. When you adopt this perspective, failure is no longer a threat but a teacher. Setbacks are no longer discouragements, but stepping stones. And criticism is no longer a blow to your ego, but a source of insight. Your thoughts determine your emotional response. Your emotional response determines your actions. And your actions, repeated consistently, create your reality. Understanding this chain of cause and effect is crucial. Your mindset is the origin point from which all outcomes flow. And by nurturing it, you can change the trajectory of your life in ways that may have once seemed impossible. Finally, it is essential to understand that changing your mindset is an act of courage. It requires confronting long-held beliefs, challenging societal expectations, and resisting the temptation to fall back into familiar patterns of negativity and limitation. It demands that you take full responsibility for how you perceive the world and how you respond to it, rather than blaming circumstances or external factors. The power of a transformed mindset lies in its ability to create not just temporary improvements, but lasting change. When your thoughts evolve, your choices evolve, your habits evolve, and ultimately, your life evolves. The simple act of reshaping your mindset has the potential to open doors you never imagined, attract opportunities that were previously invisible, and allow you to live a life aligned with your deepest ambitions and values. One of the most transformative shifts you can make in your life is learning to see problems not as obstacles, but as opportunities. Most people run from difficulties, avoid challenges, and hope that life will be easy, smooth, and predictable. They spend their energy wishing circumstances were different instead of asking how they can rise to the occasion. Yet, the truth is that every problem carries within it the seeds of growth, innovation, and personal evolution. The challenge itself is not the enemy. Your reaction to it is what shapes your future. When you encounter a roadblock, a mistake, or a failure, you are presented with a rare chance to test your creativity, resilience, and courage. Those who see only the difficulty remain stuck, frustrated, and limited, while those who recognize the hidden potential in every problem move forward with clarity, determination, and vision. Every challenge, no matter how overwhelming it may seem in the moment, contains a lesson, a skill to be learned, or a perspective that can transform your life if you are willing to embrace it. The difference between a life constrained by fear and one expanded by opportunity lies in perspective. A person who sees problems as threats feels powerless, anxious, and defeated, while a person who sees problems as opportunities feels energized, curious, and empowered. Consider this: when you encounter rejection, it is not a signal to quit or feel unworthy. It is a signal to improve, to learn, and to find a path that aligns with your growth. When you face failure, it is not evidence of inadequacy, but feedback from life showing you a direction that needs adjustment, refinement, or creativity. Problems force you to stretch beyond your comfort zone, to explore skills and abilities you may not have realized you possessed, and to discover strengths that only emerge under pressure. This perspective transforms life from a series of setbacks into a continuous journey of learning and improvement. Learning to embrace problems as opportunities also requires courage and resilience. It is easy to complain, to blame circumstances, or to give up when things become difficult. But the truly successful do not avoid discomfort. They confront it head on. They recognize that growth never happens in the comfort zone, that mastery is born from repeated effort, and that real progress is forged in the face of adversity. When you stop viewing challenges as punishments and start viewing them as invitations to develop, your energy changes, your confidence grows, and your decisions become purposeful. Problems become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks, and your failures begin to teach lessons that success alone could never provide. The courage to face problems directly, rather than flee from them, is the hallmark of those who achieve extraordinary results in life. Furthermore, problems often open doors to creativity and innovation that would otherwise remain closed. When resources are limited, when circumstances are difficult, and when standard solutions fail, the mind is forced to think differently. The greatest inventions, the most powerful breakthroughs, and the most enduring achievements often arise not in times of ease, but in times of struggle. A challenge that feels insurmountable today may become the catalyst for a solution that changes your life, your career, or even the lives of others. The discomfort, frustration, and uncertainty of the moment are not signs of failure. They are signals that you are on the path to growth, testing your resolve, and preparing for the rewards that only perseverance can bring. When you train yourself to see the opportunity hidden in every problem, you gain a sense of agency and control that others lack, because while you cannot always control what happens, you can control how you respond. Another critical aspect of seeing problems as opportunities is the mindset of learning. Life does not hand out lessons in a way that is always comfortable or obvious. Sometimes the most profound learning comes from the mistakes we make, the failures we endure, and the obstacles that challenge our patience and creativity. Each problem carries a lesson that strengthens character, builds resilience, and equips you with wisdom that will serve you for a lifetime. Those who learn to extract the value from problems become unstoppable, because every obstacle becomes a training ground, every setback a blueprint for future success, and every challenge a chance to demonstrate courage and adaptability. The ability to see opportunity and adversity transforms life from a series of struggles into a series of moments that prepare you for the extraordinary potential within you. One of the most common traps that hold people back in life is the belief that they must wait for perfect conditions before they can take action. Many spend years waiting for the ideal moment, waiting for the right opportunity, the right resources, the right timing, or the right support. Yet that moment almost never arrives. Life is unpredictable, circumstances are rarely perfect, and waiting for external conditions to align is often the silent thief of dreams. The truth is that those who achieve greatness do not wait for everything to be perfect. They start now, with whatever they have, and they adjust, adapt, and improve along the way. Waiting for perfection gives you an illusion of control, but in reality it keeps you stuck, watching others take action while your potential remains dormant. Action, even imperfect action, is far more powerful than planning indefinitely or waiting for the ideal scenario, because momentum builds results, clarity, and confidence. The first step in overcoming this mindset is recognizing that perfect conditions are a myth. Life will always present obstacles, limitations, and uncertainties. You will never feel fully ready, fully prepared, or fully equipped, and waiting until you do is a guarantee that opportunities will pass you by. People who are successful understand that readiness is not a precondition. It is developed through experience, persistence, and resilience. The act of starting, even before you feel ready, is what transforms potential into reality. Taking action allows you to learn, to make mistakes, and to grow in ways that preparation alone could never provide. Every step forward, no matter how small or imperfect, builds momentum, and with momentum comes clarity, confidence, and the ability to tackle even greater challenges. Waiting, on the other hand, keeps you in a state of stagnation, where your ideas remain just thoughts, your goals remain just dreams, and your potential remains untapped. Another critical aspect of stopping the wait for perfect conditions is understanding that fear is often disguised as caution. Many people tell themselves they are waiting for the right moment because they are afraid of failing, afraid of making the wrong decision, or afraid of being judged. This fear creates the illusion that patience is strategic when in reality it is avoidance. Courage does not mean you are fearless. It means you move forward despite fear, uncertainty, or imperfection. Action is the antidote to fear, because every step you take proves to yourself that you are capable, adaptable, and resilient. The longer you wait for everything to align, the stronger your fears become, and the further you push your dreams out of reach. Action transforms fear into confidence, hesitation into momentum, and uncertainty into opportunity. Furthermore, starting without perfect conditions forces creativity and resourcefulness. When you are limited by resources, knowledge, or experience, you are compelled to innovate, problem solve, and adapt. Many of the most remarkable achievements in history were born out of imperfect circumstances. People who took initiative with what they had, learned as they went, and turned challenges into breakthroughs. Waiting for perfection removes the pressure to think creatively or act decisively, while taking action in the present moment demands ingenuity and resilience. It trains you to see solutions instead of obstacles and to make progress even in less than ideal conditions. The mindset of acting despite imperfection also fosters discipline and long-term vision. Those who wait for ideal conditions often seek immediate comfort, instant approval, or guaranteed outcomes, which prevents them from building the habits, skills, and resilience necessary for lasting success. By contrast, those who take action today with imperfect knowledge or incomplete resources develop the strength, patience, and adaptability required to thrive in any situation. Life rewards those who move forward consistently, even when circumstances are not ideal, because consistent action compounds into progress, experience, and opportunity over time. Finally, recognizing the power of starting now shifts your focus from external validation to internal empowerment. When you stop waiting, you reclaim your agency. You realize that progress is not dependent on the world being ready for you, but on your willingness to act, learn, and persevere. The act of starting, even imperfectly, signals to your mind, your spirit, and the universe that you are committed to growth, and it sets in motion forces that gradually align resources, opportunities, and support. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results, while waiting creates stagnation, doubt, and regret. Those who understand this principle act decisively, embrace imperfection, and move relentlessly toward their goals, knowing that progress is always possible when you refuse to wait for a perfect world. Failure is not something to fear or avoid. It is the most honest teacher you will ever encounter in life. Many people grow up being conditioned to believe that failure is shameful, that it reflects inadequacy, or that it should be avoided at all costs. This mindset creates a fear of trying, a fear of stepping out of comfort zones, and a hesitation that prevents the very growth and progress they desire. The reality is that success without failure is rare, incomplete, and often fragile, because true growth is forged in the fire of setbacks, mistakes, and challenges. Every failure carries within it valuable lessons that cannot be learned from success alone. Success may validate your skills and reinforce your confidence, but failure forces you to confront your limitations, rethink your strategies, and develop resilience that will carry you far beyond any temporary win. Understanding this principle is the foundation of a mindset that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Every time you fail, you are presented with a mirror reflecting your weaknesses, your blind spots, and the areas that require attention. While this can be uncomfortable, it is also empowering. Most people avoid looking into this mirror because it exposes flaws they would rather ignore. But those who embrace it gain insight that cannot be accessed any other way. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is the stepping stone to it. When you treat failure as feedback rather than as a verdict, you shift from a mindset of judgment to a mindset of growth. Each mistake becomes a data point, each setback becomes a lesson, and each disappointment becomes a catalyst for improvement. Over time, these accumulated lessons create a foundation far stronger than one built solely on effortless victories. Learning from failure also requires humility and self-reflection. It is easy to blame external circumstances, other people, or bad luck when things do not go as planned, but taking responsibility for your role in outcomes is where true growth begins. By examining what went wrong, why it happened, and what you could have done differently, you develop a deeper understanding of yourself, your abilities, and the strategies that work best for you. This process may feel uncomfortable, even painful at times, but it is precisely this discomfort that expands your capability, strengthens your resolve, and prepares you to handle future challenges with greater skill and confidence. Those who refuse to learn from failure repeat the same mistakes, becoming trapped in cycles of frustration and stagnation, while those who embrace it move forward with insight, clarity, and resilience that sets them apart from the majority. Moreover, failure teaches patience and persistence. Immediate success is rare, and the path to meaningful achievement is rarely linear. Those who succeed understand that setbacks are inevitable, and the difference lies in how they respond. Instead of giving up when confronted with difficulty, they persevere, experimenting, adjusting, and refining their approach until they discover what works. Every failure tests your determination, every setback measures your commitment, and every mistake challenges your ability to stay focused on long-term goals. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not the ones who avoid failure. They are the ones who embrace it, learn from it, and continue forward when others would have stopped. Failure also builds emotional strength and resilience, which are as important as any skill or knowledge. Experiencing disappointment, criticism, and defeat trains you to handle adversity without losing confidence, hope, or direction. It teaches you to remain calm under pressure, to recover quickly from setbacks, and to continue taking consistent action even when the world seems stacked against you. In this way, failure transforms from a source of pain into a source of empowerment, equipping you with the mental and emotional tools necessary to achieve lasting success. Those who understand the value of learning from failure develop a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities, mistakes as lessons, and setbacks as temporary detours rather than permanent roadblocks. Ultimately, failure is the crucible in which growth, character, and mastery are forged. It pushes you beyond comfort, forces you to innovate, demands self-reflection, and strengthens both determination and resilience. Each time you fall, you gain knowledge, perspective, and skill that cannot be acquired through success alone. Learning from failure is not simply about avoiding repeated mistakes. It is about embracing every setback as a teacher, every disappointment as a guide, and every challenge as an invitation to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. Those who master the art of learning from failure understand that life is not defined by the moments they fall, but by the courage, insight, and action that follow each fall. One of the most defining qualities of those who achieve extraordinary success is their ability to think long-term. In a world that constantly pressures people to seek instant gratification, quick wins, and immediate results, long-term thinking is both rare and profoundly powerful. Most people measure success by immediate outcomes, daily validation, or term achievements, yet true growth, mastery, and impact are rarely achieved in a single day, a single project, or a single effort. The difference between those who build lasting success and those who drift through life is the understanding that meaningful results are the product of patience, consistency, and vision. Long-term thinking requires the ability to delay gratification, to prioritize enduring value over temporary pleasure, and to invest time, energy, and effort in actions whose benefits may not be immediately visible, but will compound over months, years, and even decades. Focusing on the long term also changes the way you respond to challenges. When you think short-term, setbacks feel catastrophic and obstacles appear insurmountable. A failure today can feel like the end of the road, causing fear, discouragement, and reactive decisions. Long-term thinkers, however, view setbacks as temporary and necessary, understanding that every challenge is part of a larger journey. They evaluate problems in the context of years, not hours or days, and their decisions are guided by the impact on future outcomes rather than immediate comfort. This perspective fosters resilience, patience, and strategic thinking, enabling you to remain committed to your vision even when progress seems slow or invisible. Long-term thinking also cultivates discipline, which is the cornerstone of sustained success. It requires consistently showing up, taking small but meaningful actions every day, and maintaining focus even when results are not immediately apparent. Habits formed with long-term outcomes in mind become the building blocks of extraordinary achievement. The person who invests time in learning, practicing, and improving today, even without immediate reward, is setting the foundation for exponential growth tomorrow. Every decision made with foresight, every sacrifice endured with purpose, and every moment of patience becomes a multiplier of opportunity and results in the future. Those who prioritize immediate gratification over long-term benefits may enjoy temporary comfort, but they often sacrifice lasting impact, fulfillment, and legacy. Furthermore, long-term thinking allows you to navigate risks with clarity and confidence. Short-term thinkers tend to avoid calculated risks because the potential for immediate failure or discomfort feels too great, while long-term thinkers understand that risk is not a threat but a tool for growth. They make strategic decisions, invest in opportunities that may take years to mature, and tolerate temporary setbacks in the pursuit of something far greater. By seeing beyond the immediate horizon, long-term thinkers can assess the bigger picture, evaluate potential outcomes, and remain steadfast in their commitment to long-term goals, even when short-term circumstances appear challenging. This ability to delay reaction and focus on the ultimate objective differentiates those who achieve greatness from those who merely drift through life reacting to events around them. Long-term thinking also strengthens relationships and networks, which are crucial components of sustained success. People who understand the value of the future invest in trust, collaboration, and integrity, knowing that these efforts may not pay off instantly but will generate profound returns over time. They nurture partnerships, mentor others, and contribute to communities with the understanding that the benefits of these actions compound over years, creating networks of support, opportunity, and influence that are impossible to achieve with short-term thinking. This mindset transforms every interaction into an investment, every relationship into a potential avenue for growth, and every action into a step toward a larger vision. Finally, long-term thinking reshapes the way you perceive failure and success. It allows you to view life as a journey, rather than a series of isolated events. Temporary setbacks become lessons, minor defeats become necessary adjustments, and small wins accumulate into